Yeah, guys. So myself, Lekha, and I'm from Bangalore. And I want to introduce myself in the beginning. I'm working as a full stack data scientist with Nissan. Maybe you have all heard about Nissan, so which is basically an automobile company. And my work will be completely full stack. When I say full stack, like end to end, from model building to model deployment, as well as like automation of everything, etc. And meanwhile, I do also work with multiple. Just a second, there is something going in the chat window, guys. Yeah, somebody's mentioning no voice. Ashrita. Guys, am I audible clearly? Because still I see people are claiming that they're not clear voice. You're clear. Okay. Yes. Okay, could you please use your voice a bit louder? Okay. Uh, is this pitch is okay? Am I clearly audible now? Yeah. Okay, guys. So those who are facing issue, like I'm just seeing the majority messages here. Those who are seeing the issue, right? Please do reconnect with the mic again, as well as like you can check the network once again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, guys, so let me restart once again. So myself, Lekha, and I'm working with Nissan basically as a full stack data scientist. So starting from model building to like completely towards automation of the models as well. And meanwhile, I do work with a lot of firms, like big firms, as well as I do go to colleges for industry mentoring and as well as industry training as well. Okay, so this is about me. And if I want to talk about my background, basically, I have masters in mathematics and statistics, and I'm not from technical background, you can say. So I worked as a lecturer for about 6 months with Acharya Institutes as a guest lecturer. Then I really wanted to enter data science. So I have opted some courses as well. So I just started studying, then yeah, I could make it. So yeah, guys, so I see basically in the whole thing, like wherever I go for training and as well as I see, people are really enthusiastic towards data science. Okay, they really want to enter data science, they really want to learn a lot of technical things like SQL, Python, as well as statistics and a lot of other things. So I guess I can help them out by giving them proper suggestion as well as by training them as well. So for me, it's more of training along with mentoring them, because they really want to transform their career. That's what they are here. It's your time as well as not just money, it's time. So I would like to help others, those who really want to be a data scientist, and you can start with other skills like SQL, Python, Tableau, etc. Okay. So guys, let me start with a slide. Give me a moment. I'm just downloading the slide. I'll share it with you. Like, yeah, guys, let me share my screen. So guys, is this fine? I guess you can see my screen here. Let me minimize this one. Just a second, I'm resharing it. Okay. I will hide this. So guys, since there are a lot of members which are in the session, so what I could do is like I'll solve your questions. I'll go through the chat as well as at the end, and I'll also help you out with the question. If you feel something that you're not understanding in the beginning itself or anything, you can raise your hand and also you can talk to me regarding the same. Okay. Yeah, guys, so I'm sharing my screen. Hope this is visible. Let me start with the slide. Okay. So guys, yeah, of course, we are going to start with SQL workshop, basically. But before going to understand SQL, you need to understand why SQL is important nowadays in the industry, because you have heard about most of that word like SQL, databases. There are people who work in SQL, etc. So we need to must and should understand what is the need of this SQL if we are really studying that, and how do we implement all this SQL skill in the industry. Okay, so that is what I'm going to start with. Welcoming to IT, first of all, and also like what are the content, that is scope of data science. So you might have wondered that, yes, we have started with the SQL session. Why there is a data science? Because SQL is completely used in data science. So people who want to be a data scientist should know, must and should knowledge of SQL. That is what we are discussing. Then skills required for a data scientist, which includes majorly SQL. Okay, then we are going to start with databases and introduction to SQL. Okay, then other SQL languages, DDL, DML, and DQL, and career opportunities. We need to really discuss on, if you know SQL, what are the career opportunities that you can pursue in data science. So guys, these are the contents that we are going to study in our workshop basically. And guys, if you feel that you're not understanding anything, do raise your questions in the chat window. I'll help you out at the end of the sessions. Okay, so quickly I'll be starting with welcoming to IT. So why there is some topic which is there like welcoming to IT? Because as I mentioned, I have seen people, those who are from non-technical background, those who have recently passed out, okay, those who are like from some other background, those who have good experience, like for about 10 to 15 experience as well, they really want to enter into IT. IT is basically like where you can learn a lot of skills. It is not just confined to SQL. You can also learn Python, mixture of everything. You can be a data scientist as well someday. So guys, I know like most of you will be aiming to transform your career into from non-technical to IT. I would really appreciate your efforts doing this. Okay, even in future, if you have any questions like, can I make it to IT? Because I was from non-technical background. When I started, I thought like, no, I don't understand what is coding at all. Okay, there is a lot of steps where you feel like, no, you can't do it, but do not, you know, like just stop at this point. You have to overcome, you can do it. So why people choose IT? Because of first opportunities nowadays in the industry. Like if you know SQL skill, if you know Python, if you know a lot of other skills, you can be really good at any of the IT guy. Like for example, you can work on lots and lots of different fields if you know just one single skill, different domains as well. Okay, so I would like to welcome you all to IT. Basically, you have started your journey towards IT by learning something, some skill that will help you to be a part of IT teams. Okay, so next is what scope of data science. So guys, let me pop the chat window. I really want this to be little bit interactive. Okay, so can anyone say, have you heard about data science? Any knowledge on like what is data science? Yes, great. Okay, study of data. Okay, interaction with data. Great, Anil. Yeah. Yes, analyzing of data, data analysis. Any example in the industry where you see data science? Manipulation of data, great, prediction of future. Exactly. Tesla, amazing. Flipkart, recommendations. Wow, you know most of it, right? Amazon, climate. Yeah. So guys, I can see like so many messages which is popping in the chat window. When I ask you what are the different advantages of data science or a scope of data science or any application, I can see multiple answers. Okay, and it is really true that in the industry we are having data science applications like you can't even imagine. Okay, from starting very basic to like very big MNC companies are having like data science applications. Okay, so guys, what we can do is we will start understanding this even more in a best way. So have you ever wondered that Amazon, obviously everybody would have shopped in Amazon, is it? So maybe you have seen that in Amazon, if you're buying some product A, automatically your search engine in the Amazon will give you some recommendation. See, so you recently with this, maybe in future you are really, like interested in same product, which is like this. Okay, similarly, have you seen the Netflix actually, where you can see if you are watching some program A and according to its genre, your Netflix will also suggest few other things which is of the same genre. Okay, so what do you think, like who can do this? They all have data science models which will really help you to understand some of the likings of the person. Based on that, it will help you to give these some of recommendations as well. Okay, I will hide this one. Yeah, so again, emails. Yes, who is not aware of email? So if you go to your inbox and there is two boxes, which is spam and ham or inbox, why do you think like there are two boxes? Who will segregate that? Obviously, Google has its own data science application. Not only this, guys, everywhere in the industry, data science is on top. Okay, and to be a data scientist, there are so many skills that you need to be aware of. Okay, so before going to see what all the skills that you need to be aware of, let us understand what is data science. Okay, so data science is a field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data. Okay, and apply some knowledge. So basically, guys, what is data? It is very simple. Data is everywhere. Okay, so everywhere, every small size company to big size MNCs will produce data. So as a data scientist, what he will do is he will get that data directly from the database. Okay, I'll tell you what is database. He will do lots and lots of analysis on data. Like for example, year on year sales, like in 2020, what is the sales? And in 2021, what's the sales is doing? Okay, in 2023, how sales would be, this is what he will predict using data science. Okay, so he will understand what is there in 2020 and how the sales is actually, is it great or improved or it is not improved in 2021, like that. Again, he will bring some model to predict what will happen in 2023. Okay, so basically a person who is a data scientist will take data, get the data from database, understand the data, give some best insight. Okay, so insights are nothing but graphical representation of data. So he will present to manager, look, in 2019, this was the sales. Automatically, there is a total dip in the sales in 2021 or 2020 because of COVID. So if there is a COVID, what you can do is you can increase your production or distribution, advertisement, etc. like this. Basically, a person, he will give insight towards like people, towards data. Then he will also give some models which will predict. Then where does SQL stands here? Okay, SQL stands in this stage. So data will be stored inside database. Okay, and that data you're going to get out of database and do a lot of analysis and further other things. So SQL stands here at this point. Okay, so being a data scientist, he should be able to collect data from databases, or he should have that capability to collect data directly from databases. So this is where SQL stands for. So guys, to be a data scientist, it is must and should skill that he should be really good at SQL. Okay, and apart from that, what are the other skills do we think is really helpful? So helpful skills and must and should skills are Python. Okay, so Python is programming language. So it is mainly used to do programming on data in order to come up with some insight. Okay, I'll also show you how does a workflow works. So next you should have advanced mathematics and statistics knowledge as well. So next comes is like SQL. You need to understand SQL really very well. Okay, because it is must and should skill. Then some tool, BI tool or the graphical representation tool is just a moment. Actually, there is some emergency call. Okay, be right back. Yeah, guys, sorry. Yeah, hope you guys can follow up the session. Yeah, guys. So Python must and should skill, SQL must and should skill, then mathematics is must, Tableau is must. Now I can quickly provide you how does the workflow of a data scientist look like. Okay, so being a data scientist, what he will do, he need to collect data. Okay, so data obviously will be stored somewhere. You cannot store it in the Excel format or CSV format in your local system. That data should be stored somewhere. Okay, so that data which is where it is stored is database. We will discuss it more and more precisely. So from here, he will use some language, that is what database language, we call it as SQL. He'll get the data. Then right after that, he start doing analysis using Python language. Okay. Then whatever the analysis that the person who is a data scientist will do here, obviously he needs to show that, right, to manager. You can't show your Python code to your manager, right? So to your client or to your manager, you need to show it graphically. Graphical representation is must and should. Okay, so here you can say you can use Tableau or Power BI. You can also use some libraries in Python, but this is a basic workflow for any data scientist to be. So compulsorily here using Python, he will also build machine learning model. Then he will deploy everything. Then finally, he will bring that whatever the output or report to Tableau. So I hope you're all at least getting that workflow. Where do SQL stands then for a data science life cycle? Okay, it stands at the beginning stage. So guys, very important. SQL is really very important for someone who wants to be a data scientist, who wants to be a data analyst as well, business analyst. Okay, then business intelligence analyst, like analytics basically you can mention. Okay, for all type of analytics, whenever you want data, obviously you need to learn SQL. So if you want to be any of this, data scientist, data analyst, machine learning engineer, later whenever you want to enter into this field of data, you must have a skill of SQL, and that is must and should your first round interview in whatever you're entering towards data. Okay, so that's where SQL stands for. I'll just give a little bit pause here. I will look through your chat window at least a bit. We can discuss a little bit about this, guys. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking through the chat window. I hope you're understanding this up to here. Where does the SQL stands for? Guys, I'll have a look quickly. The chat window. Okay. Application of great infrastructure. There are some questions would like to really answer that, which we will analyze. Just a moment. Okay. Is this, yeah, this session will be recorded, and we will also discuss about what is structured and unstructured databases as well, and also data. Once we start that SQL session, actually, this was just recap when you can start SQL and why do we need SQL as well. Okay. So Just a moment. Okay. Asha, you have mentioned you have already completed your Python essential. What is next for me? So basically, if you're aiming Python for data science, right? It's just a moment. Okay, if you're aiming Python for data science, then you can start with SQL. Can we become without having experience? Yes, guys, you can be a data scientist. Yeah, Rahul. You have mentioned your question is, ma'am, can we become data scientists directly without having any experience in this field? Yes, I am the example. I didn't have any experience in data science field, but today I'm a full stack data scientist. So I would just say that you should be really, really good at all these skills, whatever you are learning. And mainly you have to put right effort. I used to study 8 hours per day. Okay, because guys, nowadays you can see it's really, everybody want to be a data scientist. So think about how competitive it is in this real world. You have to compete with somebody who is technical. You have to compete with somebody who is experienced. You have to compete with somebody who is really good at all these skills. So if you really want to aim for a data scientist, learn everything very properly. Okay, do not go anything just blindly. Okay, that is what our focus is mainly. Okay, is it possible to make transition from help desk into SQL based work? Yes, you can. Okay, so SQL database. Yeah, regarding the databases, whatever the question I have, right, I would like to answer while I'm presenting towards databases and SQL. Any need of data structures to become a data scientist? So data structure is needed. Okay, like basic data structure is must and should. You must have that knowledge of Python. Is it necessary to learn Python to understand SQL? No. SQL is completely different. I will also help you what is the difference between SQL and Python. Okay. Certificate workshop, data science journey. Yeah, Mohammed. So I have showed you like what is the roadmap, right? Experience. Yes, you can. Okay. There is some question. Is this SQL workshop sufficient? So guys, we have the SQL workshop just to make sure that at least you learn something, some understanding about SQL, because it is important. You should not have that fear of no, I can't learn something and all. If you want really more advanced, then you need to have a look at other advanced courses as well here. Which, okay, what's so guys, yeah, there are some questions about the package. So usually nowadays a minimum package without any experience would be, I can quote minimum of 6 lakh to 9 to 10 lakh per annum without experience as well. Because like there are so many work towards SQL and data science. That's the reason. I hope that answers your question. Yes. Yeah. So somebody mentioned, ma'am, can you provide any job assistance for a fresher like me in this field? Yes. I'll also help you guys. My session won't be like, yeah, I want to just teach you data science. I want to just teach you SQL databases. No, I will never keep my sessions, which is like that. I would also add what are the challenges that you might face while learning SQL. And I want you to give some more interaction on that as well. Okay, so I will provide. Okay, once we start the session like with SQL, at every moment I will provide what all the necessary changes that you need to do to be a part of this journey as a data science or towards data. How much time it takes? Okay, can you suggest some workbook? Okay, guys, so we can start, and few other questions are majorly like in SQL only. Okay. Yeah, database is a software is to define. Okay. Okay, guys. So we can, I guess, start our session like with towards SQL. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Messages. I have completed my BSc in mathematics. Also, I have 2 years experience in banking sector, but I won't switch my career in data science. It's possible. Yes, it's possible. Guys, I would like to tell you one thing. Nowadays, no degree matters. Okay, so I can see people who are coming from many different background. People from who worked as a psychologist from like so many years is a data scientist. He's my senior. So there is no rule like you have to be a technical. Nowadays people are actually like continuing to be a part of data. Okay, guys, so let us quickly continue with the session as well. So let us start then. Exactly what is SQL? Okay, so let us start from this. Okay, guys, I'll come to the queries again at some point. Okay, okay, let us start with SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, so SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Before going to understand SQL, we need to understand what is database. Okay, because without having a knowledge of database, you cannot understand how we can implement using SQL language. Okay, so guys, I will also explain you with the definition as well as like I'll explain you with some example as well, like what are the databases that we also use in the industry. Okay, so that will be helpful. So database, so according to the definition, database is collection of information. Okay, so and that information which is organized and it can be easily accessed. Okay, managed and updated. So let me talk about this a bit by bit. So guys, maybe you all know that, let's say we have multiple companies, okay, n number of companies in the world nowadays, and every company generates its own data. For example, if you take Amazon, we all know that Amazon has its own, like if I take just one portal, that is Amazon shopping portal, where you're generating this data. What data which is there here? So you are taking some product, okay, for that product you're writing some review, you're rating it, okay, and you also subscribe for Amazon Prime. So all these things which is there, this is all data information about any person. And will this be useful? Yes, this will be stored somewhere and it will be useful for analysis further to understand the business. Okay, similarly, let's say another company. Every company have their own data, and where do you think it is stored? Obviously we need to store this data somewhere, right? It can't be somewhere in the Excel sheet or somewhere in the CSV file. So we are actually storing that data in the place we call it as databases. So what is database? It is a place where you're collecting all your data. Okay, and further we use this data. And is this database is structured? Yes. So this database follows some rules and constraints, and it is very well structured as well. Okay, so what is this database? You can simply say that it's like a home for this data. So whenever you want some data out of this home or database, you can quickly get the data and start doing further analysis as well. So this is database. So database is collection of information, collection of data. Okay, various data. So guys, just a moment. Okay, I'll just connect to charger. Just a second. Yeah, guys. Just a second, I'll reshare it once again. Yeah. Okay. So there are different types of databases that we are going to study further. Okay. So what are the different types of databases that we have? And one more thing, in industry, how are we using this databases? Okay. So there are different databases, guys, based on its functionality and based on the capacity that it holds. Okay, like you can have one database which we call it as the MySQL database. Okay, so this is the database where you're storing most of it. And what is the storage? Which is medium. So MySQL database has got the medium storage. Okay, further, let's say if you want to store so much of data and this MySQL database is not good enough, if your company is very big MNC and you have this company all over the world, they want to store data, then they really go for big databases like cloud databases. So in this cloud, which has got a very big database, obviously, and this database will hold very large amount of data, guys. And this completely depends on which company you're working in and the capacity of that data. Okay. So next in this, we have cloud platform. So in this cloud, we have got, maybe you have heard about AWS, Amazon Web Service. So these people, they actually store data in their databases, and their database, we call it as Redshift. Remember this? Okay. So with MySQL database, you can store very few amount of or less amount of data, not so less, but relatively compared to other cloud databases, it is less. Then if you look for a big databases like cloud databases, we have Amazon Web Service, we have Google Cloud Platform. So in this you have got BigQuery. Okay. And we have also got Snowflake. So guys, these are all basically databases. Okay. Some names of the databases according to the capacity of data. Okay, so if you have good capacity, like really huge data or very good capacity of data, you can automatically you can go and choose this cloud platforms. Okay, so this is based on the capacity of the data. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, this is database. Right after that, we have different databases. Okay, so database is majorly, which we are classifying it as relational databases and non-relational databases. Clear? So what is this relational database? Database is majorly classified into two groups. One is relational databases, another one is non-relational databases, and mainly based on structured and unstructured data. So guys, before going to start with relational and non-relational databases, let me help you understanding what is this structured and unstructured data. Okay, so maybe you have seen the structured data which will be in this tabular format. So it will have columns and row wise data. For example, if you want to take ID, name of the person, okay, place of the person, etc., like that, you have so many columns, and which in each column you have got so many records. This is structured data. Okay, then what is this unstructured data? How do we define this unstructured data? See, as I mentioned, Amazon website, where people go there, buy some product, they will also give this comment, right? So obviously, this comment is in text format, isn't it? So this text format is unstructured. But Obviously, it is a data. Why? Because it contains some information. We need to use this information further to do analysis how this product is doing. If somebody has written, this is really bad product, you can mention your manager that after analyzing this data and analyzing the trend, you can easily say that this product is not doing great at all. So it is structured data, which is columns and rows, which is structured in nature. Okay, whereas unstructured data or textual data, image, videos, okay, these are all a different data. So especially text data is completely unstructured in nature. So based on this, and apart from this, there are few data which is unstructured. Okay, some data stored in PDF documents, which is stored as documents as well. Okay, anything which is unstructured here, which is not structured, which you can't do analysis properly as well without even converting it into structured format. Okay, so next let us come then. According to data, we classify this into relational database and non-relational database. Okay, then what is this relational database? A relational database is a type of database that stores and provides access to data points that are related to one another. Very, very important. Okay, so the columns of the table hold attributes. See, relational database is a type of database in which data is stored and how it is stored. So guys, remember, this is a database. Let's say data is collected to this database, and how it is stored? It is stored in the format of tables. So each data here is stored in the format of tables. Okay, and each table here, for example, let us say this is the data. This is the table for personal information of the person. Let's say this is the company data, any company. Okay, so personal information is like ID of that person, name of that person, age of the person, etc. This is the personal information table which is stored in this database. After that, let's say you have got financial information as well. Okay, some ID and that person name, then salary, how much salary that he is getting. So this is another table which is in database, but obviously these two are connected to each other. Means if I ask you, let's say person A, what is the salary of this person A? Automatically you can look up the salary in this financial information. So database is basically collection of data which is in the form of multiple tables. All these tables here is interconnected to each other, and very importantly they are related to each other. Okay, so such type of database we call it as relational databases. Hope you're understanding this. Okay, so guys, here one quick example, if you have a look through that example. Okay, so here this is one small chunk of database example. So this is the table Guys, am I audible now? Okay, sorry, there was a network issue. Okay, yeah. Sorry, guys. So there was a network issue due to power cut. Okay, I hope you can see my screen, right? Everyone? To confirm. Yeah, great. Okay, guys, yeah. Okay, so we were discussing about relational database, is it? So here you can see this is the table one, which consists of user information, complete details of the user. Next, see, this is the movie data. Okay, some data which is related to movie. So next is about rating. So what rating that the person with some ID has given. Okay, so it is connected. Basically, these two tables are connected, and how it is connected based on the ID. Why it should be connected with ID, why it cannot be connected with the name? Basically, because IDs are unique in nature. It is unique. Name can be repeated. Okay, that's the reason why it is just directly connected with this ID. Okay, so next is like this table is again connected to this tag. Okay, then that is again connected to another movies table here. Basically, it's like, let's say person with ID 1 and the name may be A. What is the description, or what is the movie that he has watched, and what is the rating that he has given? So think about it. Basically, you can do multiple analysis here. So this, all these tables are connected with each other. So we call it as relational databases. Then you might think that what are the databases that we are dealing, being a data to moving towards data science and all. So we are most of the time, okay, we are dealing with relational databases, guys. Okay, so we just don't deal with non-relational databases much, but it is good to have a non-relational database, that's it. So but most of the time, even in your interview, those who want to be entering into this field, they will ask you what is this relational databases. Okay, so if you're really good at SQL towards relational databases, 100% you can enter into IT, to any field in this IT. Especially this is really helpful those who want to enter into this data field. Okay, hope you're all understanding this. So this is about relational databases. Okay. So next we are going to talk about non-relational database. Before going to that, let us understand few other terminologies which we are going to use. So one is relational database management system. Another one is database management system. Okay, so let us understand this. So what is this database management system and relational database management system? So guys, so maybe you have used your like email applications, for example, some e-applications like banking applications, is it? Also, maybe you guys have used some other applications like booking some tickets, flight ticket. Maybe you have already seen that. So just by clicking, by just providing your bank information or account information, just providing, how do you think your bank details is popped up? How do you think you can get this bank details? Okay, so in the backend, there is some system which is working to connect between the user and as well as this database. We call that system as DBMS, okay, database management system. So what is this? This is the system where people work to connect between database and as well as user, as well as few applications also which is related to this databases. Okay, so that is what database management system, that is DBMS. So next is what relational database management system means. Each table here is relational. So any system or management which is towards the relational database, we call that as relational database management system. Okay, so that is what RDBMS stands for. Okay, so I hope you are all clear. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System, and RDBMS is a program used to maintain a relational database. Okay, so next, some of this is like MySQL. MySQL is one of the example for databases, especially relational database. Okay, then Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, and some Microsoft Access. These are all example for relational database management system or relational databases. Okay, I hope you're all clear with these concepts. I'll give a pause here. I'll see chat window if you have any queries. So DBMS is the database management system, guys. So basically it is like you can say if you want to get any data from database, there is some system which will help you to work on. Okay. What is a basic difference between SQL and Python? Yeah. Okay, when will we get hands-on? So hands-on will be covered right after introducing what is structured query language and MySQL. Right after this, I want everyone to install, if possible, install this MySQL workbench. I will start doing the practical session there as well. Okay. So somebody, most of you are asking what is the difference between Python and SQL. Okay. So the difference between Python and SQL is Python is more towards development. What is this development? Maybe web development, you can say. Maybe using this Python, you can develop some product. Okay, into website or in the Android phones or like any application level. But using SQL, you cannot develop anything. Remember this. SQL is only for databases. So it's like data which is stored inside this database. To store data, right, we need SQL. To get data out of this database, we need SQL. To manipulate anything, let's say, for example, there is some table, you need to change that table to something else. To manipulate, you need SQL, that is structured query language. Okay, so the basic difference and the major difference between Python and SQL is that Python, which is used for the web development, whereas SQL, you cannot develop anything using SQL. It is not at all possible. Okay, so using SQL, what you can do is you can do all the manipulation towards database. So SQL is completely only used for databases. Okay, it is not like a programming language. Okay, then you might have like this thinking that can I just use a SQL to develop something? No, you cannot use SQL to develop anything. It is very much confined to only databases. I hope that answers your question. Then what is another type of database that we have? That is non-relational databases. Okay, so we have another type of database that we have is non-relational databases, where tables are not at all related to each other. Okay, some of the example for non-relational databases is MongoDB, Mongo database. Okay, Cassandra. Okay, these are all some of the example for non-relational database. Guys, those who are aiming to be a data scientist, analyst, or like any fields towards data science, so you need to be really focused on relational databases. If you're really good at relational databases, you can quickly get job and you can quickly enter into this field very quickly. Okay, then how about non-relational? This people who are in big data. There is one more another ocean like data science that we have, we call it as big data. So people who are in big data will go for non-relational databases. So I hope it is clear, guys. So relational databases is a one in which each and every tables, each and every data inside this database is connected. Okay, it is related to each other. Then you might think that like compared to non-relational, relational database is quick and very faster because each and every table is connected. Okay, for you to get the query, it will be very quick compared to non-relational databases. Okay, I hope you're all clear with what is this relational database and non-relational databases. So next we are going to learn about structured query language. What is the structured query language? So this is the language for storing, manipulating, as I mentioned, and retrieving data in databases. Okay, so with this, you can store data, you can manipulate data, and you can retrieve data out of database very quickly. Okay, so this tutorial or this particular workshop will help you to also do hands-on on this SQL. Okay, so then what is this MySQL, guys? There is one very important interview question. What is the difference between SQL and MySQL? Most of you will be confused. Remember this really well. Okay, so MySQL is database, which is a place where each and every data is stored. And what is the SQL? SQL is the language used to manipulate this data inside this database. Okay, so MySQL is the database, that is a relational database that we are going to have a look on, or that we are going to work on. Then SQL is a language that we must learn in order to manipulate data in this database. Then you might have this question, will the SQL work for other databases also, like other relational databases, like big databases, like cloud databases? Yes. So if you learn SQL, it is universal. Okay, but with non-relational databases, SQL won't work. It will not work. Okay, there is other languages which will work. That is what NoSQL languages. But SQL work really well for relational databases. I hope it is clear, guys. So let me recap once again. So we just discussed about what is this data science, how it is like booming in the industry. And we discussed like where does this SQL stands in this data science stream, workflow. And for sure, you must be really good at SQL skill, guys, else it will be really difficult. Okay, just a moment, I'll see. Okay, company. Okay. So guys, is it clear? So we discussed about relational database, non-relational databases, and we discussed about why SQL is important and all. I hope you're all really clear with the concept now. Before starting the practical sessions, okay? So we are going to understand like, are you good at your concept? Okay, so I hope you're all okay with your concept. We can start the sessions as well. Okay. So guys, next thing is why MySQL is very important. Okay, because it is very fast and guys, open source. MySQL is open source. Okay, so you don't have to pay anything. You can learn MySQL. And where do you want to code? Actually, there should be some platform or window where you want to do this coding and you want to practice this coding. So there is a platform which is called MySQL Workbench. Workbench, which I'm using this for coding purpose. Okay, for running the queries as well. So every coding we are going to do it in the MySQL Workbench. Okay, so and this MySQL is ideal for like larger and small companies as well. And this is like, these are all the few advantages of MySQL, that is the database. And if your company is really big where MySQL databases is not holding data properly, then you'll go for big databases, which is like Redshift, Snowflake, etc. Okay. So let us quickly start understanding the practical sessions also, because that's must and very important. So guys, now since we are doing this practical session, at least we need some platform we need to code, right? So we need to install software called MySQL Workbench software. Okay, I'll quickly show you the installation guide for that software. So maybe you can try installing this, because there are so many like practical questions that I'll ask in the session also. So this is two-way sessions, guys. Like I'll also ask the question and you need to copy paste your code in the chat window, so that that will help you really well to practice the coding well. Okay, so this is the installation guide that I'm using. Okay. So how to install this MySQL Workbench? Okay, so to install this MySQL Workbench, I have provided the link here. You need to click on this. Okay, so it will help you to open this window. So guys, this is the MySQL documentation window. This is the documentation window. This is the downloads window. This is from the Oracle. And MySQL is the product which is directly from the Oracle, people from Oracle. Okay, so after this, so you need to go for, just a moment, there is something in the chat window. Please share the link, ma'am. Okay, just a moment. I am sharing this in the chat window. So I'm sharing this to everyone. So guys, you can open this one. Okay. So right after this, this is the window that which is popped in. So right after this, you need to select MySQL installer for Windows. Okay. Just a moment, guys. Okay. So guys, once you enter this one, right? So you need to click on MySQL community downloads. Okay, this is the downloads which covers all the packages and which is really helpful. You need to click on this community downloads. So the first thing, let me come again. You need to come to that link which I have shared it in the chat window. Right after that, you need to click on community GPL downloads. Okay. So right after this, what you need to install is you need to install the MySQL Workbench. But to do that, just a moment. Okay, so we are going to this installer. Just a second. Just 1 second. I guess I need to give some break now. Just a second. Okay, guys. So yeah, we were discussing about how to install it. As I mentioned, I know I can see a lot of chat, like we can also discuss at the end of our session as well. Once we complete like this SQL session, I'll also help you out like who can all transform their career into data science. And it's not like the moment you learn all these things, you can be a data scientist, because to be a data scientist, you have to previously work as a data analyst as well. Okay, so we will discuss all these things, not to worry, at the end of our sessions also. So we will continue with our download. So I'll come from the beginning. So basically we are starting with the installation of the software. So I have mentioned that we need to click on this particular link, which will head us towards this MySQL, okay, documentation as well as their downloads. After that, I have clicked on my community downloads, my community GPL downloads. Okay, in this, you need to click on MySQL installer for Windows. Okay, so you need to click on this one. Clear? So guys, please do follow. Okay, so after this, once you install, like once you come to this window, there are two options. Okay, it is asking you, do you want to install it in 5.5M or do you want to install it in 448.3? So I don't want to go for more GB. So I would like to install the first option. Remember, so the first thing I did is clicked on that link that will help me to come to downloads. In that downloads, you need to click on MySQL community downloads. Right after that, you have these options. Okay, so click on this download. So I already have the software, but I still click on this downloads. So it is asking you to log in or sign up. Do not do any of this. Can you see this option? No thanks, just start my download. Okay, so you need to click on this. It will help you to download the execution file. Okay, guys. So it is downloaded. I'll go to downloads. Okay, you can see this is the execution file. Right after this, I will guide you through this PPT because I already have the software. If I eliminate that software, so my records will be out. So that's why I'm not eliminating the software. But right after this step, once you install this, this is the execution file that you need to install. Once you install this, just open or double click on this, on the same. Okay. So if you double click on this, it will take a little bit more time. Okay. Yeah. So guys, I hope you can see this. Do you want to allow this? Yes. Okay, you are saying that, yeah, allow this to make any changes. Okay, yes. Okay, so it is asking you other options. Guys, right after this, have a look at this one. So I hope you're all clear up to here. So guys, if yes, please type yes in the chat window. I hope you're all clear with the steps I have mentioned. Okay. Okay, it's clear. Okay, no. Okay, one more time. Cool, guys. I'll repeat one more time. Okay, not to worry. So one thing, maybe I can share this in the chat window also. One second. First thing what I'll do, I'll share this in the chat window, the installation guide. Just see if you can access this. If you can download or access this one. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, so if you already have this MySQL workbench, it's enough. And somebody mentioned that can we do this coding in MySQL shell? No, guys, because MySQL shell is not that interactive as MySQL workbench. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. So what I'll do, I'll repeat once again here. So this is the installation guide. I have also shared it with the chat window. Please try to access that if possible. So this consists of a link. If you click on this link, it will head towards the installation. Okay. So basically this is the page. This is a MySQL documentation. This is their official page where they have got their products and all. So once you come here, see, go to extreme bottom, click on this MySQL community GPL downloads. Okay. So right after this, you need to click on this MySQL installer for Windows. So if you click on this one, it is popping up two options. Just click on this first option, download. Okay. So you have to log in or sign in. No, you don't have to do any of this. Okay. So you need to say no thanks, just start my download. If you click on this, it will automatically start downloading the execution file. I hope you're all clear up to here. Okay. Okay, guys. So right after that, then once you download it, right? So you'll get an option whether to customize or not to do this. So guys, I'll just quickly go through this because like anyhow, I'm sharing you the installation guide. Okay, because it might be time consuming. I'm not downloading anything here. I'll just guide you how you can download. So just click on this custom, click on this next. Okay, so there are some, right now I have everything. That's why it is not customized here. I'll go to this PPT. One second. I'll come back to this PPT. See, the steps are already there. Click on this custom. Once you click on this custom, right after, just a second, just a second, I'm sharing again. Yeah. Okay. So once you click on this, you need three major things here. Okay. So what is this? Basically, you need server, you need workbench, and you need shell. You can also see some of the videos as well. Also, please do look at this guide. Okay. So we need these three things in order to do the coding. So you need server, because MySQL, in order to connect with your whatever you are writing to the database, you need a server in between. Okay, and this is the workbench where you're trying to code, and next one is the shell, MySQL shell. So this is optional even. So this is helpful when your workbench is not responding properly. Okay, these three things. So what you need to do is like go here, this all the available products which is from the SQL. Okay, so click on the recent version and you can see this arrow. Okay, you can move towards this so that these products will be installed or available. Okay, from available product to be installed product, you are moving all those which is needed. So just go, just expand this MySQL shell, just move this the recent version of that one. Okay, then click on this next. Okay, so once you click on the next, everything will be started downloading. Okay, so just click next. So here guys, be very careful while providing this password. Okay, so this password you need to provide, you can keep just a small password as root. This is the small letters, you can keep it as root. Okay, and you can keep this password, because do not keep any fancy passwords because you will forget that one. Okay, do not keep any fancy passwords. Okay, just keep normal password. Just a second, let me see the chat window. Yeah, we are starting. Okay. Okay, guys, you can finish downloading. Then right after that, you can start launching that. Okay. So let me go on start with the. So guys, this is the workbench. This is how it looks. Okay. So basically, this is the query where you're going to write. So guys, there is some disturbance on the screen. I'm not sure why it is so. This is really disturbing. 1 second. Okay. Okay, guys, please do install this software with you. I'll be continuing with this because it will be very time consuming if I just focus on the downloads. Most of you also ping that we need to start the SQL practicals as well. So I'll just be continuing with this practicals. Okay. So once you download it, right, you can launch this. So before going to start with this, what you need to do is you need to create your own instance. Okay, just click on this plus mark. Okay, so maybe you can create the instance like SQL underscore workshop, SQL workshop. Okay, right after that, you need to test the connection. So guys, once you install the software, right, once you download the software, if you're getting this successfully made MySQL connection, then you can easily start coding because you have connected Workbench with the server. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Then say okay, so that it will help you to have your own instance for whatever you're working. So if you double click on that, it will help you to open this blank page. Okay, so let me quickly explain what all the things which is there in this page very quickly. So guys, here you have got file. In order to open new SQL file, and this is the place where you're coding, guys. Okay, this is a place where you're coding, and this is the database. Okay, so this is the databases which is already there in the system, in my system, basically in the server which I'm working on. Okay, so this will help to have the new sheet. Okay, so if you want to edit something, you can edit using this option. So guys, workbench, I'll leave it up to you. I'll explain like few things in the workbench because there are so many functionalities in the workbench. Obviously, we cannot cover in this small time frame. I'll quickly go and start this coding. Okay. So guys, yeah, let us start this coding. Before going to start this, so let me come back to here. So I hope you're all understanding like how to install this workbench. So guys, please download this workbench. Okay, because I'm not stressing so much onto this. I just give an overview like how you can download this workbench. You can actually use some knowledge of the installation guide, and please do download the workbench with you. Okay, so now we are going to start with this practical session. Okay, guys, just a moment. Yeah, guys. So let us start the practical session. Okay, so before going to start this practical session, we need to understand three major divisions which is there in the SQL. Okay, so guys, SQL itself is a language. So it is properly divided into three major groups. Let me hide this. Based on the functionality. Okay, based on the functionality, it is divided into three major groups. So one is DDL, data definition language. Another one is DQL, data query language, data manipulation language. So what is this data definition language? So basically to create this database, right? Because data is somewhere, you need to store that data into this database, and for that you need to have a database. So to create this database, we need this DDL, data definition language. It's like defining your database. How many tables should be there? Because we already seen that in database, data is stored in the form of tables. So we need to create this database and store the data within this database in the form of tables. If you want to drop it, you can drop it. If you want to create some more tables, you can create it. Basically, data definition language will completely work on the structure of this database. So similarly, next is what data manipulation language. Okay. So what is this data manipulation language? Yes, you have created the database. Next thing is you need to add this data inside this database, right? So to add this data inside database, you need DML. So when DQL is needed, to construct this database, you need DDL, data definition language, is used to construct this database. Data manipulation language, which is there, right, is used to add data inside this database. Okay. Then what is data query language then? So this is the part where we work a lot in the field of data. Okay, especially data analytics, business analytics, data science, everything. This is the part which is of our interest, and this is where like you will be asked in the interview. So you need to be really good at DQL. There are so many queries in DQL. You need to be really good at all those queries because this is of our interest. Okay, so DDL is data definition language. You're going to define the database. Data manipulation will add data. To get data out of database, we need DQL. And all these things are SQL only, but we name it separately based on some constraint which belongs to this. Okay, based on its functionality, we name it separately. We name it as DDL, DQL, and DML. Hope you're okay with this. Okay, so let us continue creating database using SQL Workbench. So guys, let me start now. So I'm going to start this DDL session first. Okay, so that DDL workbench. Okay, so 1 second, let me maximize this one. Yeah, So there is some clause which is confined to create this database. Okay, what are those clauses? So the first clause or the first function in this SQL is create function. Okay, and guys, you can also look at the syntax how we are using to create this database. So the create is a function, or you call it as a clause. Okay, clause or query which is used to create database. Okay, so you can say create database and give the database name, and I will show you, you need to end every query with a semicolon. I'll tell you why. Okay, so next is what? Alter. Yes, let's say you have created some database, created some table. If you want to alter something in the structure, you can use this alter query. So next is what? Drop. Drop database. If you want to drop the database, you can use this one. Then next is what? Truncate. See, drop will drop entire database, whereas truncate, what it will do is it will keep all the records. It will just remove the records. Okay, and it will keep the structure as it is. For example, if you have a table like ID, name, as well as age. Okay, truncate in this table will lead you to have only column names, name and age, without any information in this. Okay, so you might wonder that, can I use all these queries in the industry? No, you will never use this. So this is the queries where data engineers will do. So who are these data engineers? Who construct this database. Can anybody construct? No. There are different skills to construct the database, guys. There are different constraints and rules to construct database. So think about it. By mistake, if you have given access to drop the database, think that you're dropping entire information of that company. And this information is all historical data. Okay, so you cannot drop any information directly and that easily. So when you're working in the industry as a data analyst or any analytics department towards data, so you cannot work any of this query. You will not work any of this query because you won't create database at all. You don't have permission to drop it as well. Okay, so these queries are just for the practice purpose. So I have kept it simple. So now I want to create database. Database like is a home to store this data. So I'm going to create database here. Okay. So guys, am I audible clearly? Guys, am I audible clearly? Yeah. Okay, guys. So here, let us start with understanding how to create this database. So right now I want to create some database by name Skillslash_workshop, or I just kept it SL_WS. Okay, so to create database, you have a command called create database. And guys, remember every query here should be end with semicolon. Okay, it is must and should, or else I will show you what is happening. Can you see another query is showing an error? See this into mark and this cross like underline is what showing an error. Why? Because it is saying, your workbench is saying that you haven't completed your first query. To complete that, you need to end this one. Okay, so you are creating this database. To run this in your keyboard, what you can do, you can enter Control Enter. Okay, where your query is executed. How to see whether it is executed successfully? See, this is the action output. Okay, so this is the pane where you are going to write the code, and this is the action output which will help you to provide an overview of what happened in the query. Okay, how many rows are affected, what happened. You can see a tick mark here, green color, which shows that you have created a database. Now if you have a look at this one, guys, here you see company DB database, another databases, but you don't see the list of this database. Okay, so there is a refresh button here. refresh it, okay, automatically now you can see this is the database which I have created. So what I did now, I have created the database, just a database without any value in it. It is just a home. I have constructed a home. Now I want to create some windows, or I want to create some places for my data to go and sit. Okay, so that windows is nothing but the table. Okay, now what am I doing? So this is the database. If you click here in the table, right, you don't have any tables at all. Okay, so click on this table one. I'm creating the table one. Click on Control Enter, or you have these two options. See, this one is execute the selected portion. This one will execute the right after cursor. Okay, see, there is a problem. See guys, this error, you might also face this error. Okay, so one major thing is that, see, here I'm saying create table and table one, but you haven't used which database is the one you want to create the table with. Okay, so before going to create this table, you need to choose the database as the default schema. See, schema is nothing but database only. We use it as synonyms. Okay, schemas are nothing but database. Okay, so what I'll do is, like, I have to select this as default one. So I will left click on this. Can you see? Use it as a default schema. Okay, just a second. Set as default schema. Now if you run this, create table, or I will give some table name as info. Okay, now see what I did. Initially I have created the database, then I am creating this information table. Create table info. If you run this one or control enter, okay, one second. One second, guys. Okay. So to create the table, you need to also mention some of the data types. See, look at this one. So to create table, this is the query that we need to write. Create table, give the table name. Okay. And within that, I need to provide what all the information that you need to add in this database. So first thing, I have created database. Right after, I'm creating the table, but table cannot be blank, right? It cannot be blank at all. You need to have some column information to this table. Okay, so I'm providing ID information, name information here, age information here. Maybe you can provide some information like this. Basically, what are the columns that you need to keep in your table? That is what the information that you're providing while creating the table. See, create table, provide this table name, okay, and give whatever the column name and data type. Then what is this data type, guys? You might be wondered, what is this data type? For ID, data type will be integer. Then what is data type? Data type is the point where, like, in which form data is stored, or in which type each column is stored. Okay, so ID is stored in the form of integer. Okay, there is one more data type called as float. If you have IDs in the floating point like this, 7.6 point, values 1.5, then you use the float. So next is what the name information. Okay, so name is varchar. So maybe you have heard about the string. What is the string? Name is the string which is categorical in nature. Okay, age is again a number, you call it as integer. Okay, if you are putting the date, you call it as the date time as the data type. Okay, so these are all the different data types that we are going to study. So this is what you're creating a column, and also you need to provide which data type that column belongs to. Okay, so I'll come back and see it in the chat window if you have any doubt. Okay, what is the difference between the character and the varchar? I'll tell you. See, character is just a number, like for example, apple, okay, mango. This is just a character. Varchar is nothing but variable as well as the character. Okay, it's like maybe you have seen the IDs like this: 1 2 3 4 A B17. See, this is varchar, variable along with the character. I hope that answers your question. So let me see for the questions. Yeah, sure. I'm sharing this PDF. Yes, that PDF is with you guys. Okay. Let me see the questions. Mhm. Yeah, difference between the varchar and character. Okay, that I have answered. I'll come back again. So I'll give you one more example. Okay. See, let's say you have a table called ID. Okay. Name. Then maybe you have one more called some other ID. Okay. Department ID. Or we will take it as age. Let's say you have ID like this. A112. A113, etc. Okay, then name, which is like some name, my name if I want to mention some other name, age 21, 22, etc. like this. Okay, so here ID is what? It is not integer. Why? Because integers are 1 2 3 4 5 etc. It is just a number without any floating point. It is varchar. Then what is this varchar? Here you have got variable A and also character. So it is a combination of variable and a character. You call it as a varchar. Okay. So next is what this name is just a character, but still for your purpose sake, you can provide is the varchar. So basically varchar is the collection of both character as well as you can mention as a variable. Okay. And you need to mention some assignment to that. For example, varchar 25 means 25 bits of that storage that you can provide. If you're storing the phone number, you can mention the phone number. Obviously, it's a varchar. It is a string, obviously. Okay. And you can mention it as 10 if it's India. So basically this bracket, whatever you're mentioning here, right? It is the storage points, like how many bits of storage you keep instead of wasting most of it. Okay. Then age is obviously integer. So that is nothing but the data type here. Okay. So column 1 with its data type, column 2 its data type, etc. Like how many columns that you want. Now let us go and create few of that. So create table. Okay. Info. Within this, I want to add the column ID, which is what? Integer. Okay. And maybe I will create age, integer. I'll just create two of these columns. Okay. You need to provide this comma. See, I'm just creating two columns here just for the sake of understanding. I'm creating table called info in which I'm adding ID, which with a data type integer, age, which with a data type as integer. Now I will add a phone number with a data type as varchar. And within the standard bits that we provide is 25. You can keep month. Yeah. So within which we are keeping the standard bits of storage is what? 25. Okay. So create table, which is information table, ID, age, and as well as phone number. If you run this one, you can see it, the table is created now. If you refresh, see, you can see information table is created. How to view this? Just go here and have a look, which is like this. See, you have created ID, age, and as well as phone number as the columns. So guys, do we like work exactly like this? No, because databases are created and separately handled by another team called data engineers. They will be very much familiar with what kind of data to be added within this databases and how to maintain the structure. Those data engineers comes under database management systems. Okay, so don't worry, we will never go and create any databases. This is for the sake of knowledge purpose. So let's say, for example, I have created the table. Now I don't want that. I want to drop it. Okay, so how to drop that? Create this table. So you need to drop table info. Control enter. Now you can see your table has disappeared. If you want to drop databases also, you can drop. But in real world example, you will never have this option to drop anything from the database. Remember this. You cannot drop any information from database or any table from database. You will never have permission also. Okay, so you will never get permission to drop anything from database. The only work that you need to do is get data, whatever the desired data that you want to do analysis using this database, using DQL. You cannot drop anything from your databases. Okay, this is just for the sake of understanding. Hope you're okay with this. So create database will create the database. Inside that, if you want to add any information, you're saying create table and you're creating the structure, which is like multiple columns. Okay, so next is what if you want to drop anything, you're dropping drop databases, like basically you're dropping a database and you're also dropping the table as well. Okay, hope this is okay. Okay, so this is just for the sake of understanding. Okay, but usually we don't work with a DDL, guys, because that is not our forte. Okay, so next up we have is DML. Okay, just for the sake of understanding how it works. So DML is data manipulation language. So this will help you to add data inside this databases. So now you have created this database. Now if you want to add something inside this database, how do you add it? Using DML. Okay, so I'll just quickly go here. Okay, just a second. DML. Yeah. Yeah. So what is this data manipulation language then? This is the data manipulation language. So which is helpful to add data inside this database. Right now I have created database. Within that I have created table, but I didn't add any data within this one table. To add that, we use this data manipulation language. So there is a query or a function called insert, will insert, okay, values within this table inside this database. Okay, next is what update. Let's say, for example, you have inserted the ID 1 and the name as Jimmy, okay, any name, and age as 26. If you want to replace this Jimmy with Sam, okay, if you want to replace anything, then you use update clause. Next, if you want to delete any record, let's say I have added some record by mistake. If I want to delete it, I'm using delete clause. Okay, so very importantly, guys, again, we will not use any of this. Okay, this for the sake of understanding, because most of the thing that we use is DQL. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly walk you through using the code. So I hope you're clear with the concept. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss about this one. So next thing, it is about DML. Okay. So in DML, you have a query called insert into, okay, any table, whatever you have created the table here, right? So let me keep the table. Let me not drop it so that I can use that one again. Okay. So insert into this table. I'm using this one. Just a second. I'm creating this. Instead of dropping, I'm using the same database. Set as default. Now you are running. Okay. So you have got the table here. In this table, I have a blank info table. See, I have ID, age, and phone number, which is blank. If I want to add any values to this for ID, for like age, and as well as phone number, I can use this DML query. Okay. So what is this DML query? Insert into which table is that? Guys, you need to mention properly. Info table. Okay. ID, and we have age. Okay. Right after that, what do we have? The column name. We have got phone number. Okay. You can provide the right information as well. Comma. Maybe you can provide some number information. I'll just keep it as something else, some random. Okay. So what am I saying here is insert into is the query which we use to insert particular data inside this table. Insert into this information table where ID, age, and phone number is my column information. To this, I'm adding ID as 1, age as 25, and phone number is this one. Okay. So control enter. If you run this, now if you go and see the same table, you can see I have added ID, age, and phone number using this clause insert into. Okay. Just a minute, guys. Okay, no worries. So like that, you can use insert statement in order to insert the values inside this database. Okay. So not audible, ma'am. Am I audible now? Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, we discussed about all these things like DDL and also DML, how to like delete some records particularly, and also how to add those records, how to create database table, what is SQL, what is DBMS, what is RDBMS, and everything. Okay, I'll quickly go through the chat window and see what are the different questions that we have. Okay, like number. Okay. So assignment will be provided directly based on the session. Theoretical assignment is also there, as well as like practical session will also be there. Difference between, yeah, difference between truncate and delete is that delete will delete entire database table. Let's say you have created some table A, delete command will delete entire table. Okay, whereas truncate command, whatever is there, will delete only few records inside that table. Okay, so it will just delete the records, not actual column. Difference between delete and truncate. Okay. Yeah, Amarjit, actually you can't add CSV or Excel file to MySQL. Okay, because like it's a workbench. You need to enter data to database. Okay, using SQL. You can't just read any file. I hope that answers your questions. Krishna, available products are blank. Okay, which is in the downloads, right? Please try to reinstall it, because sometimes what will happen due to any server issues or something, available products might show like blank. How to eliminate particular column? So you can say drop and provide the column name. How data is given in the company? It is given in the server format, guys. Okay. Okay, we are using phone underscore number instead of phone number. See why? Because if there is a space, right, SQL consider it as a two different letters here, like completely two different words. No, there is no major difference between delete and truncate. The only difference is one will delete the complete database table. Other truncate will delete entire record set within this table. Where we get this PDF? Okay, so I have shared it. Maybe they're also gonna share this in the LinkedIn or anywhere like where they are given the link as well. So in case if we want address, you can add address as one more column, Pooja, and you can mention this as a varchar only, because there are chances you might have door number in the address also. Yes. Yeah, Mohammed, we need MySQL, like SQL. Do we need to know for an? Yes, we need this for the analysis purpose. Later on, like once we start DQL, right, we do a lot of analytics here. Okay. So should we learn basic of, see, you just need to focus on DQL, not so much on DDL or DML for data science or anything towards data. Okay, you just need to have a knowledge of DDL, DML, that's it. That's why I have included. But most of our work will be done directly on DQL. It's just a second. Let me ask my team, because it's 8 now. Okay, guys. So we have few other queries also. We have noted the queries. What type of servers like? It's already 8. We can reconnect again tomorrow. Okay, I'll also quickly give you the roadmap what we have discussed till now. Tomorrow's session will be very, very important, because that is what we focus directly towards data, because there we do a lot of analytics. Okay, so guys, we'll connect tomorrow again. Is DCL and Akshata? No. DCL is data control language. We don't use it. Only admins will use that in order to provide the permission. After completing table, example. So please give me one example. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So guys, I'm really like confused, because there are so many people are here, and also I'm trying my best to cover like whichever is possible in this 4-hour session. Okay, but obviously like it is not possible to say everything in this 4 hour. Even I'm feeling a bit confused what to say and what not to say. Like there are so many things in SQL. Okay, please bear with me tomorrow. Like let us plan like proper DQL, because that is where you want to understand really, really very properly, guys. Okay, so tomorrow's session is important. Do not miss that. So tomorrow, like come with the MySQL workbench. Okay. Yeah, I'm there in the LinkedIn, guys. Maybe whatever the link they have shared, right? I'm there. You can search as Lekha Janardan. Okay, I'm there in the LinkedIn. Hope this is helpful, and I'm sure like you guys learn it even more better when you start some courses here. Okay, hope we meet again in the classes as well. Okay, yeah, guys. See you then. Take care. Good night, everyone. Okay, so I guess everyone wants my LinkedIn profile. Okay, I'm sharing my name. Lekha Janardan. Okay, so guys, you can search as the Lekha Janardan. This is my LinkedIn profile. Okay. Okay, guys. See you all tomorrow. Have a great day. See you all. Bye.